An explosion took place in the center of Donetsk, near the administration building of the DPR's leader Denis Pushilin, the news reported. The eyewitnesses reported about 2 exploded shells. One hit the top floor of an apartment building. The early reports spoke about no victims or wounded people. The deputy head of the People's Militia Department of the DPR previously stated the reason of the increased shelling of the residential areas of Donetsk. Recently, the DPR forces managed to find areas of concentration of the Ukrainian servicemen and armor, after which those areas were hit. The Ukrainian forces chose to inflict a return fire on the residential areas of Donetsk. The DPR forces also destroyed 6 command posts of the UAVs used to aim the shelling of Donetsk. The Ukrainian shelling of the territory of the DPR has escalated significantly. The cities of Donetsk, Makeevka, Gorlovka and Yasinovataya were hit on 10th of June. The Ukrainian forces use MLRS, 152mm and 155mm artillery pieces. On the morning of 10th of June, the DPR's Territorial Defense HQ reported about 4 civilian deaths. 6 civilians were injured. The intensification of the shelling of cities and towns of the DPR takes place at the same time with the statements about the lack of artillery pieces in the Ukrainian forces and their constant requests for long-range MLRS. The recent massive shelling of the city of Stakhanov in the LPR killed 22 people. The spokesman of the UK Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, stated that the UK is deeply concerned about the death sentences given by the court of the DPR against 2 British mercenaries. The UK will work on their release. One mercenary from Morocco was sentenced to death as well. He took part in the hostilities in Donbass on the side of the Ukrainian neo-Nazi regime before he was captured. The mercenaries, sentenced to death probably by a firing squad, want to appeal the verdict. Under the Geneva Convention, the POWs have a right to immunity as combatants. The British and the Moroccan captured in Donbass are mercenaries, and thus they do not fall under the status of POWs and under the protection of the Convention. The UK is still trying to portray them as members of the Ukrainian army so that they won't be accused of participating in the hostilities. The press service of the Elysee Palace reported that Emmanuel Macron promised in a telephone conversation with Vladimir Zelensky that he will send a batch of heavy weapons to Ukraine. The experts guessed that the weapons will be the 155mm SPGs Caesar. The terms of delivery and the quantity have yet to be announced. Earlier, the deputy head of the military intelligence of Ukraine, Vadim Skibitsky, announced the loss of Ukraine in the artillery war with Russia on the front lines in Donbass. We have used almost all of our ammo. We are now using the standard 155mm NATO shells, Skibitsky stated. According to him, Ukraine has 1 artillery piece for every 10 to 15 Russian artillery pieces. He added that Ukraine uses 5,000 to 6,000 artillery shells per day. The ambassador of the LPR in Russia, Rodion Miroshnik, stated that the Ukrainian servicemen stuck at the Azot chemical factory in Severodonetsk are trying to set conditions for their exit from the factory. A small group of Ukrainian forces located on the territory of the Azot chemical factory can't escape the factory. All the escape routes were cut off. Some representatives of the Ukrainian forces are trying to get in touch with our forces and put forward their conditions. They were told that no conditions will be accepted, only laying down of their weapons and surrender. They went back to think about what they heard, the LPR diplomat reported on Telegram. He added that there are civilians on the factory, but their exact number is unknown. Some of them found a way to contact their relatives. They confirmed that they are alive and they are hiding in bomb shelters, the RIA News reported. On 10th of June, during a video meeting of the youth representatives of Crimea, the DPR, the LPR, the Kherson region, and the Zaporozhye region, the deputy head of the military civilian administration of the region, Andrei Trofimov, stated that the residents of the Zaporozhye region see an improvement in the situation. They began to understand that the new government provided them with security. He noted that many people in the region have relatives in the territories nearby. They cautiously make contact with the new authorities. Volunteers, including students, are already active in the region. Konstantin Restsev, specially for the Anna News.